to learn the topic which is nothing but the C programming. Yes, today we are learning about the C programming. Let's move on our handwritten notes. So now we will see how the program is made up. Yes, this is our program. Okay, here is name and title is C program. So definitely here is program is made up. You have a question, what is a program? Program is used for tell to a computer what we want to do. Yes, because computer can't listen or understand our language. Because of it, we have to use here the program which helps to computer to understand. So let's start the program. Here you can see here is a symbol is given. This is nothing but the header file. Okay, header file. Then we have to write the include, arrow, studio.h and arrow closed. Then second step is int. Int is nothing but the integer. Int means nothing but the integer. Yes, integer. Then what is said that after it, here is a close bracket is given, or we also called is a parenthesis or a round bracket. Okay, round bracket is the short form and parenthesis is the name. Then here is a curly bracket start. In it something is right. You can see here quotations are used and at the last return 0 and semicolon is given. And at the last here is a given a curly bracket which is in the program. So let's see first the definition which will tell you what is the program exactly. After it I will say to you in my own language what is the program exactly. Okay, so let's start up. So here first I clear the screen. So first is given here the int main and the round bracket and then curly bracket is start. So why this is given here in a program? What is the mean? What is the definition? What it gives us? So here is given some sentences. A valid C program must include the main round bracket function. You can here only set the main. Okay, because every and each sentence we can't set that here is a round bracket. You can see easily. So a valid program which is must include the main function. The C compiler start executing code from the functions. So what is a compiler? Compiler is a special program which convert our code into the machine code or a computer code. So each and every valid program means the C program must have to include the main C means main round bracket. Okay, because of why the conversion of our code to a machine code is started from the main and the round bracket. Okay, that's why int main is very important. Int is nothing but over the integer. Then also here we can use the character etc. all I will say to you one by one. So next thing is given, that is printf. So what is a printf function? Printf and in bracket quotations is given, hello world is said. So inside the main function means from which the code conversion, our code conversion into the machine code or the computer code is start. In it, the printf function is startup. This function displays the text inside the quotation. Means what is said the printf or what is the work it said or it displays the means which is shows us or shows by the computer the text inside the quotations. Quotations are given here like that, and in it which words are given, which sentences are given, that all sentences or the words displays by the printf. So it is the work of the printf. Here is given like hello world is wrote in a quotations. So this is example which is given. You can see here, okay, what is hello world. Then for printf to work, we have must use their hashtag include studio.h in our program. And to work of this printf, we have to must use this include studio.h. Why? Because of it we can display it, otherwise it is not done. Okay, and at the last you can see here the return 0 and the semicolon is given. So the program ends with the return 0 and the semicolon program. Means return 0 said that the program is end up. Okay, so here are some basic things are given. Variables. So what are the literals? Literals are fixed values that we can use directly in our program. For example, 5 minus 12.5, C, etc. all means the fixed values are given there which we can use in our program. That is nothing but the literal. Then what is the variables? So variables allow us to store these literals values, okay, so that we can use them later. Means variable gives permission to store the literals value like as a 5 fixed values. Then type of literals are given here. So what are the type? First is integer literals. We can see in a program before the main round bracket here is int is written, right? So int means what? I said you the integer. So integer literals means what? Number without a decimal part. Example are 4, 9, minus 2, 0, 138, etc. all. But there is a not to have a decimal. Decimal means what? Point. Like as a 2.2, 8.9. Any point is not given there. Only the numbers which have not the decimals are allowed in the integer. Okay. Then second one which is said that what is the next one? Floating point literals means what? Number that have decimal part. We can see. Means integer literals are not the floating point literals and floating point literals are not the integer. Because why? Because in integer there are not points or the decimal are used. But in the floating point there are decimals are used. Okay. So what is the third one is given? What is about the third one? So character literal. A single character and it is enclosed within single quotation mark. Means in a single quotation there is a character is written, then that is a character literal. Like as A is written in a quotations, single quotation, then curly bracket is given, F, T, etc. all. We can take there the at the rate also, but in the quotation. Okay, so first of all let's clear it. I hope that you are learn about everything literal and the variable. But once again I tell you, so literals are the fixed value. Okay, literal are the fixed values and variables are allowed to store that fixed values. Okay, variable allowed to store these fixed values. Then next we see the type of the variable types. Okay, in types we see about the integer variable. Integer variable what said? Integer variable said the points or the numbers, okay, which have not a decimal, okay, which have not decimal is not present there. Means number are 2, 4, minus 6, there are negative or positive, every number is counted but it have not a decimal. Then second one we see that the floating literal variable, right? So in a floating literal variable we see that there is a decimal is given, which is said that here we have to use the 2.2 decimal is important. And at the last we see there is a character literal variable. Yes, character literal variable, which said that we have to use here there anything like as a character, like as a, but in a single quotation. Yes, we have to use here a single quotation, which is also important. Then we can use here the some others, like as a at the rate, everything at the rate, but in a single quotation. So all such things we learn in the next this one page. So let's move on the next one. So this page once again tells us about n variables. So what is said here? Every programming language has a concept called variable. Okay, that allows us to store the data like as integer and the character. Means generally we can see here we can store there the fixed values, right? So what is next one line is said that to indicate the storage area, each and every variable is given a unique name to show that that is the area where we store. We have to use or give it a unique name, because if we give a same name to everyone, then we can't show it, we can not find it. So we have to give here the unique name. Examples are integer age, means here is int is given, we are using there the int, which is not the decimal, means integer variable literal. Then here int variable can only store the integer values. We know that the integer values are which have not the decimals. And yes, after the variable name there must have a semicolon, because it is indicate the end of the statement. Means what? You can see here the int age is given, and at the end here you can see the smallest one here is our semicolon is given. Then why we have to give it? Because it indicates that the statement is ended there. Okay, so what is the next line? Creating a double variable. To create a variable that can store decimal number, we can use double. Means we have to store that number which is have a decimal, like as a 2.2, means here is a decimal. So for it we have to use their double. And also we see that there is a floating number is also called it. So double salary means what? Here is a something is in a decimal, like as a 2.2 lakh, 4.4 lakh, etc. all. Here the salary is variable that can only store floating point number, means decimal numbers. Then after declaring a variable, here is how we can assign values to it. Means once we say that here is a int is used, or we can say that here is a double is used, after it how we can assign the values to it. Means here is a int, means here is not decimal number is used in the number. So in the next step we can write here the age, okay, is equal to 25, 26, and the semicolon is given at every end of the statement. The next thing is said that here int age, okay, create a variable age to a type int. This variable can only store integer values. I will tell you repeatedly it. Then age 25 semicolon, assign 25 to the age variable. Okay, we can also assign a value to a variable during its declaring, right? So we can write it in a line, like as example int age is equal to directly 25 semicolon. We have to not write like that. Here is given in a second step. We can also write like this. So this is the concept of this page. I hope that you have cleared it. That's it. It is a last